Moving on to a three-star offensive lineman. He's 6'4", 285 pounds. His name is Jayden Mann. He's from Bronx, New York. You mentioned how Alabama and Syracuse, kind of a weird match, but could happen with CJ May. Jayden Mann is from Bronx, New York. So this is someone who is more up our alley for Syracuse. He released his top four. Syracuse is, of course, in it, along with Rutgers, Georgia Tech, and West Virginia seems to be the outlier here of the top four. Similar thing with CJ May. What are you hearing regarding Jayden Mann's recruitment?
Well, for the life of me, I don't know why this hasn't happened earlier, but obviously Fran is a good recruiter. They've done a good job at that program. They've done a good job in that area, New Jersey, New York. If they don't win out in this kind of recruitment, they have no chance to turn the program around. Like, you have to win New York, New Jersey if you're serious. It's always been that way. I think they got a great shot here, and they've got more than one kid they're recruiting at that program. They got some dudes there. They got some good. I was watching some of their film, but his list is a little goofy. But I'll just say this: especially big guys, there aren't enough kids like him in the Northeast. And if there are, they usually go to about 3 or 4 schools that are, one's independent and 3 are in the Big Ten. I'm sure you know which ones they are. If you can steal a kid, like, I don't think Penn State or Notre Dame or any of them are after this kid.
No, his top four is
kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and he can move. This kid can play early at Syracuse.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I think he can play as a redshirt freshman. He needs a year of technique. Like, his technique is iffy. I mean, that's what I got written down. But, like, on my notes, first thing I put, great frame. He looks like an SEC offensive lineman.
Got it.
I deal with those kids every day. That is the bottom line. If you don't have those kids, you're not moving up the ladder and competing with Florida State, Clemson, Miami. You're not. So this is a really important recruitment for Syracuse.
Got it. And it's funny you mentioned that he has great frame. Obviously, he can work on the technique. I mean, I'd rather you have, excellent frame. We can always teach the technique, but it's tough to teach size because
you can't.
You can't. I mean, you could do weight training, but I mean, he's 6
height and length, brother. That's what the NFL Combine is about. Height and length.
Yeah, 6'4". I mean, I can't teach that. I can't teach you to grow more. I can, you get proper weight training and everything. You can get the guy up to 300 pounds, which is probably what he's going to need to. And he's got another year of college. Is he more of a tackle or is he more of a guard?
Right tackle or guard. I don't think he can play left, but he's such a power kid, and he's got good enough feet to get the edge. When I say left tackle, like playing left tackle against Miami's edge rushers or NC State, one of these elite teams, is different than some random school. There's about 3 or 4 teams you play every year that's got a guy that's different. Louisville's edge rushers, guys like that, that's different. I'd rather have him at guard or right tackle. But run blocking, we're good. His upper body strength is already good. He's tenacious. He finishes plays with a thud, and that's what you need if you're going to elevate your program.
Got it. And another thing you mentioned with the frame and his technique and everything like that, he's from New York, and I've heard you mention this on the Locked On Auburn podcast about how certain areas are more stouted than others. Is that part of the reason why he's maybe a 3-star recruit other than like a 4 or not even a 5, but a 4-star recruit?
There's nobody scouting New York kids. I've never heard one of my buddies going into New York to scout a kid, ever. It's a basketball city.
Right.
All of us pretty much that scout, minus a few guys that are literally living where they do just to cover that geographic area, all live down south because the proximity to Prosper. I live in Alabama. I'm in a 7-hour radius of pretty much everything I need outside of Miami. It's a little further to Miami. That's it. It's all proximity. And the number of kids I can throw a rock and hit that can play Division I football is a lot. It's just not the same in New York. So people don't go there. Those kids get undervalued sometimes. It's just part of the game. It's just the opposite in basketball. Like New York City in basketballs.
Yeah.
It's insane, but it's a different sport. So I think this kid, if he lived where I do, or if he lived in suburban Atlanta, if he lived in Charlotte, he would get much more attention. That's my opinion.